Late at night, when the house is finally quiet, your dog is still watching. Maybe they're lying on the floor near your bed. Maybe they're resting on the couch. Or maybe they're sitting just outside the room. Most dog owners look at moments like this and think the same thing. My dog is just relaxing. But dog behavior researchers say something interesting about these quiet moments. Sometimes, what looks like calm behavior on the outside can actually be a signal about something deeper, a signal about trust. Dogs rarely express emotional changes the way humans do. They don't sit you down and explain what they're feeling. Instead, they show it through small behaviors most people overlook, tiny changes, subtle habits, quiet signals. And once you understand what they mean, you start seeing your dog very differently. Today, we're breaking down 5 things dogs often do when trust starts slowly shifting. Some of them are incredibly subtle. And the first one is something many owners accidentally misunderstand every single day. Number 1. Your dog stops looking at you. Imagine this. You walk into the room. Your dog is lying nearby. You call their name. But instead of making eye contact, they turn their head slightly away. Most people assume the dog is distracted or simply being stubborn. But in canine social language, eye contact carries a lot of meaning. Researchers from the University of Tokyo, studying dog-human bonding, discovered that mutual gaze between dogs and owners triggers the release of oxytocin, the same hormone involved in parent-child bonding. In other words, when your dog comfortably looks at you, their brain is literally reinforcing emotional connection. But when that gaze slowly disappears, something subtle may be changing. Dogs often avoid eye contact when they feel uncertain, pressured, or emotionally unsure about a situation. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's just a quick glance away. But when it becomes a pattern, it can suggest the dog is starting to manage distance emotionally, not just physically. And interestingly, the next behavior often appears around the same time. Number 2. They start sleeping slightly farther away. For many dogs, sleep location is not random. It's deeply connected to how safe they feel. In wolf packs, sleeping arrangements historically reflected trust and protection within the group. Dogs still carry traces of this instinct. Behavioral researchers at ETV's Lornd University in Hungary, known for their work on canine cognition, have found that dogs often choose sleeping spots based on both safety and social attachment. When a dog consistently sleeps close to their owner, it often reflects a strong sense of security. But sometimes, something changes. Instead of sleeping near your bed, they move to the doorway, or the hallway, or the other side of the room. Most owners barely notice. They assume the dog simply wanted a cooler spot, and sometimes that's true. But in some cases, it can also be a quiet adjustment in how the dog manages personal safety and emotional distance. It's not rejection, it's more like observation. And what dogs start doing next can be even more surprising. Number 3. They hesitate before approaching you. Picture this moment. You reach your hand out to your dog. Usually they walk right over. But now, they pause, just for a second. That hesitation is easy to miss. But in animal behavior science, hesitation often signals conflict in decision-making. Your dog wants connection. But part of their brain is also evaluating something. Dogs evolved to read human behavior extremely carefully. A study from Duke University's Canine Cognition Center shows that dogs constantly analyze human body language, tone, and predictability. If interactions become confusing or inconsistent, dogs sometimes shift into what scientists call assessment behavior. That means they start observing before engaging. Not because they don't love you, but because they're trying to understand what might happen next. And when that uncertainty continues for long enough, another quiet signal can appear. Number 4. They stop following you around the house. For many dog owners, this is the behavior that first made them fall in love with their dog. You stand up, and suddenly there are little paws behind you. Kitchen, living room, bedroom. Your dog is always there. Following behavior is often linked to attachment security. Dogs follow the people they feel most emotionally connected to. But when that pattern slowly changes, owners sometimes assume their dog has simply become more independent. And sometimes that's exactly what it is. But behavioral psychologists note something interesting. When dogs feel uncertain about interactions, they sometimes reduce proximity behaviors like following. It becomes a way of avoiding unpredictable moments. Again, this isn't dramatic. It happens gradually, which is why many people don't notice it until something else begins happening too. And the final behavior might be the quietest signal of all. Number 5. They watch you, but stay still. This one is fascinating. Your dog is in the room. They're not approaching. They're not leaving. They're just watching. Still, calm, observing. At first glance, it might look like simple curiosity, but long-term studies on domestic dogs show that watching behavior often appears when dogs are evaluating social cues. They're reading the situation, reading you, trying to understand emotional tone. Dogs evolved alongside humans for thousands of years. Their survival depended on interpreting human behavior correctly. So when trust is strong, dogs interact freely. But when something feels unclear, they sometimes switch into observer mode. They wait, they analyze. And interestingly, many owners who notice this behavior later realize something important. Their dog was never being distant. They were simply trying to understand the relationship again. Because for dogs, trust isn't something that disappears overnight. It shifts slowly, quietly, through moments most people never notice. And once you begin recognizing those small signals, you start seeing your dog in a completely different way.